The phone rang at 2 a.m., shattering the quiet of Landon's small apartment in Chicago, and when he answered, his sister's voice on the other end delivered the blow. "Mom and Dad are gone. Car accident." Landon froze, the world tilting as grief crashed over him like a wave. But beneath it simmered the unspoken fear that this loss would unravel the fragile acceptance he'd fought for his whole life. As a gay man who'd come out to his conservative family a decade ago, Landon had been stunned when his parents embraced him without hesitation. But his siblings, Mark, Sarah, and Lisa, had always harbored resentment, whispering about family values and sidelong glances at holidays. Landon hung up the phone and turned to his partner, Jamie, who was already sitting up in bed, eyes wide with concern. "They're dead?" Landon whispered, collapsing into Jamie's arms. The two had met 5 years earlier at a community theater in the city, where Landon was directing a play about identity and belonging, and Jamie, a soft-spoken graphic designer from a more progressive background, had been cast in a minor role. Their connection was instant, a quiet understanding born from shared vulnerabilities. Jamie had grown up in a supportive family, but he'd seen friends disowned for their sexuality, and he knew the scars it left. Now, as Landon sobbed, Jamie held him tight, murmuring, "We'll get through this together." The next morning, Landon booked a flight back to his hometown in rural Illinois, a place of wide cornfields and tight-knit communities where everyone knew everyone's business. Jamie insisted on coming along, sensing the storm brewing. "Your family's never been thrilled about us," Jamie said gently as they packed. "I don't want you facing this alone." Landon nodded, grateful but anxious. His parents, Robert and Elaine, had been his anchors. Robert, a retired factory worker, had surprised Landon by attending Pride events after his coming out, even wearing a rainbow pin to church. Elaine baked cookies for Landon and Jamie's visits, asking genuine questions about their life together. But the siblings? Mark, the eldest, a stern accountant, had once called Landon's lifestyle a phase. Sarah, a homemaker with 3 kids, avoided mentioning Jamie at family gatherings. Lisa, the youngest, a teacher, pretended tolerance but voted for politicians who opposed gay rights. Arriving at the family home, a modest 2-story house on the edge of town, Landon felt the weight of memories. The driveway was crowded with cars, neighbors bringing casseroles, relatives milling about. Mark greeted him at the door with a stiff hug. "Good you made it," he said, eyes flicking to Jamie. "We'll handle the arrangements." Inside, the living room buzzed with conversation, but Landon noticed the subtle shifts. Photos of him and Jamie that once lined the mantel were gone, replaced by pictures of his nieces and nephews. Sarah pulled him aside in the kitchen. "We need to talk about the will," she whispered urgently. "Mom and Dad left everything to us, to the family." Landon's heart sank. "What do you mean us?" he asked, voice steady despite the rising panic. As the day wore on, tension simmered. During the wake planning, Lisa suggested a traditional service at the local Baptist church, where the pastor had preached against same-sex marriage. Landon objected, reminding them of their parents' evolution. "Dad marched in pride for me," he said. "They wouldn't want that." Mark scoffed. "This isn't about you, Landon. It's about honoring them properly." Jamie squeezed Landon's hand under the table, a silent show of support, but Landon felt isolated, the old wounds reopening. That night, in the guest room, Landon confided in Jamie, "I thought coming out was the hard part, but it's like they're erasing me all over again." The funeral was a blur of condolences and hymns, with Landon delivering a eulogy that highlighted his parents' unconditional love. "They taught me that family isn't defined by blood alone, but by acceptance," he said, his voice cracking. Some attendees nodded approvingly, but his siblings exchanged glances. Afterward, at the reception, a cousin pulled Landon aside. "Your folks were proud of you, kid. Don't let anyone tell you different." But the warmth was short-lived. Back at the house, Mark called a family meeting. "The lawyer's coming tomorrow," he announced. "We need to divide things fairly." Landon felt a chill. "Fairly? What about my share?" Sarah hesitated. "Landon, you have your life in the city. We have families here, kids, mortgages. Mom and Dad would understand. The argument escalated quickly. Lisa chimed in, "You've chosen a different path. We're keeping the traditions alive." Landon stood, anger flaring. Chosen? Being gay isn't a choice. And traditions? Dad evolved. Why can't you? Jamie tried to mediate, but Mark cut him off. This is family business. The room fell silent, the divide stark. As Landon stormed out, Jamie followed, wrapping an arm around him. They're wrong, Jamie said. Your parents loved you as you are. But doubt crept in. Had his parents truly included him in the will, or was this their final, unspoken judgment? The lawyer's visit the next day confirmed Landon's fears. The will, drafted years ago but never updated after his coming out, left the estate to our children. But with a codicil added recently, equal shares, including Landon. Mark's face hardened. We can contest it, he muttered. On grounds of undue influence or something. Landon was stunned. Undue influence? From who, me? The siblings argued that Landon's lifestyle had pressured their parents into acceptance, clouding their judgment. It was absurd, but in this small town with conservative courts it might stick. Jamie urged Landon to fight. This isn't just about money. It's about your place in the family. As weeks passed, the legal battle began. Landon hired a lawyer in Chicago, commuting back and forth. Jamie supported him through late-night strategy sessions, but the strain showed. I hate seeing you like this, Jamie admitted one evening over dinner. It's tearing you apart. Landon sighed. I just want what they intended. And maybe validation. The conflict spilled into the community. Rumors flew at the local diner, with some siding with Landon for his parents' sake, others whispering about city influences. Mark rallied extended family, painting Landon as the outsider who'd abandoned roots for an alternative life. One evening, after a heated court hearing where Sarah testified that their parents had regrets, a lie Landon knew, he broke down in Jamie's arms. Maybe I should let it go, he whispered. Is it worth destroying what's left of the family? Jamie shook his head. They destroyed it first by not accepting you. Their relationship deepened in the crucible. Jamie's unwavering loyalty a beacon. But Landon wrestled with choices. Fight for justice or walk away for peace. The high road felt lonely, but surrender meant erasure. The courtroom in the county seat felt like a pressure cooker, with fluorescent lights buzzing overhead and the air thick with unspoken prejudices. Landon sat beside his lawyer, a sharp-witted woman named Elena who'd taken his case pro bono after hearing his story through a LGBTQ+ advocacy group. Across the aisle, his siblings huddled with their attorney, a local good old boy with a drawl that masked his shrewdness. The judge, an older man with a reputation for traditional values, called the session to order. This is about interpreting the will, not rewriting family history, he intoned, but Landon knew better. Everything was personal here. Testimonies began with Mark, who painted a picture of their parents as devout folks swayed by modern pressures. Dad was a simple man, Mark said. He loved Landon. Sure, but deep down he worried about the eternal stuff. Landon clenched his fists, remembering his father's last words to him. I'm proud of you, son. Live your truth. When it was Landon's turn, he spoke steadily. My parents accepted me fully. They updated the will to prove it. But cross-examination was brutal. The siblings' lawyer probed into Landon's life with Jamie, implying it was a distraction from family duties. Have you contributed to the farm or helped with their care? He asked. Landon admitted he hadn't, living hours away, but countered, love isn't measured in miles or money. Jamie watched from the gallery, his presence a quiet anchor. After the hearing, they walked to a nearby park, where autumn leaves crunched underfoot. You were amazing in there, Jamie said, pulling Landon close. They're grasping at straws. But Landon felt the toll, the constant scrutiny, the reliving of rejections. Back in Chicago, their apartment became a sanctuary, filled with takeout dinners and movie nights to escape the drama. Yet even there, cracks appeared. Jamie's work suffered from the stress. He missed deadlines, his creativity stifled. I don't blame you, he assured Landon. But this fight, it's changing us. Social conflicts rippled outward. Friends in the city rallied around Landon, organizing fundraisers for legal fees. But back home, old acquaintances shunned him. A former high school buddy messaged, "Sorry, man, but your family's right. Blood should stick together." It stung, highlighting the societal divide, urban acceptance versus rural conservatism. Landon joined a support group for LGBTQ+ individuals facing family estrangement, sharing his story anonymously at first. "It's not just the inheritance," he told the group. "It's like they're denying my existence." One member, a trans woman named Riley, nodded. "They fear what they don't understand. But fighting back reclaims your narrative." As the case dragged on, a bombshell dropped. Lisa uncovered old emails from their mother expressing concerns about Landon's choices. But upon closer look, they were from before his coming out, twisted out of context. Landon confronted her over the phone. "How can you do this? Mom loved Jamie. She sent us anniversary cards." Lisa's voice wavered. "We're protecting the legacy. You left us behind." The call ended in tears on both sides, exposing the raw emotions. Jealousy over Landon's freedom, resentment of his easy city life. Mark, meanwhile, rallied the community with petitions, framing it as preserving family farms from outsider claims. Jamie suggested a break, a weekend getaway to Michigan's lakeshore. There, amid bonfires and stargazing, they reconnected. "Remember our first date?" Jamie asked, tracing Landon's hand. "You said you wanted a life without hiding." Landon smiled faintly. "And you promised to stand by me." The trip reignited their bond, but reality intruded upon return. A court order for mediation. In the neutral office, tensions boiled. Sarah broke first. "We miss the old Landon, the one before all this." Landon replied softly, "That Landon was hiding. This is who I am." Mark stormed out, but Lisa lingered, whispering, "I'm sorry," before leaving. The mediation failed, pushing the case to trial. Landon's lawyer presented evidence. Witnesses from Pride events, letters from his parents affirming their support. The siblings countered with character attacks, even dragging Jamie into it by questioning their relationships' stability. It was a low blow, igniting public debate in local papers. Editorials split. Some decried discrimination, others upheld traditional inheritance. Landon became a reluctant symbol, interviewed by LGBTQ+ media. "This is about equality in families," he said. But fame brought backlash, hate mail, online trolls accusing him of greed. Through it all, Jamie's support never wavered, but Landon noticed his partner's growing weariness. One night, after a particularly grueling day, Jamie confessed, "I love you, but this is exhausting. When does it end?" Landon pulled him into a hug. "Soon, I hope, for us." The conflict forced choices. Prioritize the fight or their future. Landon pondered settling, but a call from Riley changed his mind. "Don't give in," she urged. "You're fighting for all of us." Empowered, Landon pressed on, the drama escalating toward a climactic verdict. Societal pressures mounted. At a family reunion, awkwardly timed amid the lawsuit, cousins took sides, some hugging Landon warmly, others avoiding him. An uncle pulled him aside. "Your dad would have wanted peace. But peace at what cost? Erasure." Landon stood firm, Jamie by his side, their clasped hands a defiant statement. As winter set in, the trial loomed, promising revelations that could heal or shatter forever. Snow blanketed the Illinois countryside as the trial commenced, transforming the landscape into a stark, unforgiving white that mirrored the family's fractured bonds. The courtroom overflowed with spectators, locals curious about the gay inheritance scandal, as tabloids dubbed it. Landon arrived with Jamie and Elena, his nerves taut like a bowstring. The opening statements set the tone. Elena argued for intent and equality, while the siblings' lawyer invoked tradition and undue influence. The deceased were coerced by societal trends, he claimed, earning murmurs from conservative attendees. Witnesses took the stand, each testimony a layer peeled from the family's onion of secrets. A neighbor recalled Robert's Pride participation, He bragged about Landon, said it made him a better man. But Sarah countered with tales of their mother's private doubts, producing a journal entry out of context. Landon's heart ached. He knew Elaine had evolved, hosting Jamie for holidays with open arms. When Jamie testified, he spoke eloquently. Landon's parents treated me like family. This dispute dishonors their memory. The lawyer grilled him. Isn't it convenient that Landon stands to gain? Jamie remained composed. Love isn't about gain. It's about legacy. The drama intensified with expert witnesses. A psychologist for the siblings suggested parental guilt over Landon's orientation led to the codicil. Elena's rebuttal expert dismantled it. Acceptance isn't guilt. It's growth. Public opinion swayed. Social media buzzed with Justice for Landon hashtags. But counter-campaigns accused him of exploiting grief. Landon felt the weight, confiding in Jamie during a late-night drive. Am I selfish for fighting? Jamie squeezed his knee. No, you're honoring your truth. Their relationship, tested by stress, grew resilient, small gestures like coffee in bed reaffirming their commitment. A turning point came when Lisa cracked under cross-examination. Did your parents ever express regret about Landon? Elena asked. Lisa fidgeted. Not really. They loved him. Gasps echoed. Mark glared. Post-session, Lisa approached Landon in the hallway. I didn't want this, she whispered. Mark pushed us. Landon's anger softened to pity. Then stop it. We're family. But Mark doubled down, leaking skewed stories to the press, painting Landon as a disruptor. The community divided. Church groups protested outside the courthouse, while LGBTQ+ allies held vigils. Emotional choices loomed. Landon considered dropping the suit for reconciliation, but a letter from his father's old friend arrived. Robert told me he'd disown anyone who hurt you like this. Fight on. Bolstered, Landon pushed forward. Jamie, sensing his resolve, planned a surprise dinner at their favorite Chicago spot. Whatever happens, we're our own family, he toasted. The evening reminded Landon of their early days. Laughter, dreams of adoption, a future unmarred by judgment. The trial's climax arrived with closing arguments. Elena thundered, "This isn't about sexuality. It's about a parent's right to love equally." The opposition appealed to norms. Families have traditions to uphold. The jury deliberated for days, tension mounting. Landon and Jamie spent the wait walking Lake Michigan's shores, discussing contingencies. If I lose, we start fresh, Landon said. Jamie nodded. And if you win, we honor them by living fully. The verdict came on a crisp morning. The codicil upheld, Landon entitled to his share. Cheers from supporters. His siblings stony-faced. Mark stormed out. Sarah wept. Lisa offered a tentative hug. Maybe we can talk, she said. Landon nodded, but victory felt hollow. Bonds irreparably strained. Back home, celebrations with friends ensued, but Landon pondered the cost. Jamie held him. You did what was right. Yet, societal echoes lingered. Online debates raged, some hailing progress, others decrying forced inclusion. In the aftermath, Landon faced new conflicts. Mark contested the ruling, dragging it to appeals, while Sarah distanced herself, citing family peace. Lisa wavered, sending mixed messages. Landon chose therapy, unpacking years of conditional love. I thought acceptance was forever, he told his counselor. Jamie joined sessions, their partnership strengthening amid adversity. Community involvement grew. Landon spoke at events, advocating for LGBTQ+ estate planning. Don't assume love protects you, he warned. As spring thawed the land, a family olive branch appeared. An invitation to his niece's birthday. Landon debated attending, weighing risk against hope. Jamie encouraged, show them change is possible. At the party, awkward but civil, Mark avoided him. But the kids hugged Uncle Landon warmly. A small win but progress. Yet, underlying tensions simmered. Would true reconciliation follow? Or was this facade? The inheritance divided. Landon invested his portion wisely, funding scholarships for queer youth. Jamie proposed a joint venture, a community center for estranged families. "Let's turn pain into purpose," he said. Landon agreed, their love a foundation for healing. But doubts persisted. Had the fight unified or divided irreparably? Societal shifts offered hope, yet conservative backlashes reminded him vigilance was key. With the appeal looming like a dark cloud, Landon returned to the fray, his resolve tempered by weariness. The higher court in Springfield promised a broader lens, but prejudices ran deep in the heartland. Elena warned, "They'll frame it as judicial overreach on family matters." Landon nodded, steeling himself. Jamie, ever the optimist, designed flyers for support rallies, equality in estates, for every family. Their apartment buzzed with volunteers, turning personal pain into public cause. The appeal hearing amplified the drama. New evidence surfaced. A video of Robert at a family barbecue, toasting Landon and Jamie. "To love in all its forms," he said. The siblings dismissed it as staged, but it humanized the case. Mark testified aggressively. "Our parents were manipulated by guilt-tripping." Landon countered calmly. "Guilt? They chose love over dogma." Media coverage exploded. National outlets picked up the story, interviewing Landon on CNN. "This affects countless LGBTQ+ families," he said. Backlash followed. Threats via email, protests at his workplace. Jamie installed security cams, his protectiveness fierce. Emotional turmoil peaked when Sarah called, voice breaking, "The kids ask about you. This has to stop." Landon empathized, then dropped the appeal. "Accept me." She hung up, conflicted. Lisa, meanwhile, defected quietly, withdrawing support for Mark. "I can't do this anymore," she texted Landon. "You're my brother." The shift cracked Mark's united front, exposing sibling rifts. At a mediation attempt, Mark lashed out. "You've turned us against each other." Landon replied, "No, intolerance did that." Jamie's strain showed. He lost weight, creativity waning. One evening, he snapped, "I signed up for you, not this endless war." Landon paused, guilt washing over him. "I'm sorry. We can quit." But Jamie softened. "No, we finish it together." They recommitted, planning a quiet vow renewal to reaffirm their bond amid chaos. Friends officiated in a park, vows emphasizing resilience. "In acceptance and adversity, I choose you." Societal debates raged. Conservative pundits decried woke inheritance, while progressives hailed Landon as a hero. A viral op-ed questioned, "Can families evolve, or are traditions unbreakable?" Landon engaged online, fostering dialogue. Community support swelled, donations poured in, allies shared stories. Riley from the group became a close friend, her experiences mirroring his. "You're paving the way," she said. The appeal verdict arrived swiftly, upheld in Landon's favor with costs to the siblings. Mark fumed, vowing no contact. Sarah relented, inviting Landon for coffee. "I was wrong," she admitted. "Fear blinded me." Tears flowed, tentative bridges built. Lisa fully reconciled, attending a pride event with Landon. "Dad would be proud," she said. But Mark remained estranged, a painful void. Post-victory, Landon reflected on choices. He donated part of his share to advocacy, honoring his parents. Jamie's business rebounded. They adopted a rescue dog, symbolizing new beginnings. Yet scars lingered, trust fractured, emotions raw. At a family therapy session Sarah suggested, revelations emerged. Childhood jealousies, unspoken resentments. "We felt you got special treatment," Sarah confessed. Landon shared his isolation. Coming out wasn't easy. Understanding dawned, slow but genuine. As summer bloomed, normalcy returned. Landon directed a new play about family redemption, casting Jamie in a lead role. Opening night, with Lisa and Sarah in the audience, felt triumphant. Applause echoed. Hugs followed. Mark's absence stung, but Landon chose hope over bitterness. "Families aren't perfect," he told Jamie backstage, "but they're worth fighting for." The story's ripples extended. Landon's case inspired legislation for inclusive estate laws, sparking national conversations. He spoke at conferences emphasizing empathy. Disputes like this highlight societal divides. Let's bridge them. Jamie, by his side, co-authored a book on their journey, blending memoir with advice. Yet not all healed seamlessly. Holidays remained awkward, with Mark's shadow looming. Landon pondered outreach. A letter, perhaps? Jamie advised caution. Healing takes time. Their relationship, forged in fire, emerged stronger. Deeper intimacy, shared purpose. We chose each other, Landon said one anniversary. Jamie smiled. And we choose again. Conflicts resolved unevenly, but growth prevailed. Landon's legacy, not just inheritance, but advocacy for acceptance. As fall approached, he looked forward, choices defining his path. Years after the dust settled, Landon stood in the old family home, now shared among the siblings through a trust he'd proposed for reconciliation. Mark had grudgingly agreed, time softening his edges enough for civil emails, though full warmth eluded them. Sarah and Lisa visited often, their children calling Landon uncle without hesitation, playing board games in the living room where battles once raged. Jamie fit seamlessly, his humor lightening moods. Who knew inheritance drama could lead to family game nights? He joked. Reflecting on the journey, Landon marveled at the transformations. His advocacy work flourished. He founded a nonprofit helping LGBTQ+ individuals navigate family disputes, drawing from personal scars. It's about choices, he told workshop attendees. Choose love over legacy, empathy over exclusion. Jamie designed the organization's branding, their partnership a model for resilience. Societal shifts accelerated. More states passed protective laws, inspired partly by his case's publicity. Yet, backlashes persisted. Conservative groups lobbied against redefining family, keeping Landon vigilant. Emotional highs and lows defined the aftermath. A poignant moment came when Mark attended his granddaughter's wedding, Landon's niece. There, in the reception hall, Mark approached. I was wrong. Dad would have hated this division. Tears unshed for years flowed. A hug sealed tentative peace. Not perfect, but progress. Landon chose forgiveness, understanding Mark's fears rooted in upbringing. We all evolve, he said. Jamie's role evolved too, from supporter to co-advocate. They adopted a child, a boy named after Robert, navigating the system with lessons from their past. Family is what we build, Jamie told their son during bedtime stories. Landon nodded, heart full. Conflicts once tearing them apart now bonded them, choices prioritizing love. The story's controversies lingered, fueling debates. Was Landon's fight greedy or just? Did siblings' betrayal stem from homophobia or genuine concern? Media revisited the tale, documentaries exploring nuances. Landon participated, emphasizing, it's not black and white. Emotions complicate everything. As the sun set on another day, Landon and Jamie walked the fields, hands linked. Worth it? Jamie asked. Landon smiled. Every moment. Their romance, authentic and enduring, stood as testament to perseverance amid societal storms. In the end, the inheritance was mere catalyst. True wealth lay in reclaimed bonds and self-acceptance. But one question remains. Was it right for Landon to fight his siblings in court, or should family disputes always prioritize private reconciliation over public justice?